The Call of the Wild by Jack London. This story is set in 1897 during the Klondike Gold Strike in the Canadian Yukon Territory. In 1896, someone, probably a guy named Skookum Jim, discovered gold near the Klondike River. This gold strike is considered the last great gold rush. It didn't take long for people to hear about the abundance of gold in the Klondike. It was said to be the most gold in the world. So naturally, many people went there hoping, expecting to become rich. Tens of thousands of people rushed, with the first claims coming merely 2 weeks after Skookum and his brother-in-law George Washington Carmack stated their claim. Getting to the gold in the Klondike was dangerous because of the terrain and the weather. For this reason, many of those who rushed the Klondike died. How did they carry the supplies they needed to make their fortunes in the Klondike? Dogs. Many, many dogs. This created a new, I think temporary, market for good, strong dogs. These dog peddlers were okay with getting dogs however they could to sell to the miners. This need for dogs provides the beginning plot point in Call of the Wild. Jack London wrote the short story in 1903, and it's divided into 7 chapters. An extremist, radical, and searcher, Jack London was never destined to grow old. That's what the Smithsonian magazine says about London, and that's probably the best description of him. He was born John Griffith Cheney, and he grew up poor. London's father wasn't in his life. His mother and stepfather raised him, and eventually he took his stepfather's last name. He dropped out of school at 14 so he could find adventure and riches. He taught himself from books at libraries and went on to study 1 year at the University of California. But adventure called, so he didn't stay. He was a sailor, a hobo, a student, an activist, an agitator, a gold rusher, an alcoholic, and in between he did some writing. At one point he was the highest paid writer in America. Unfortunately, the alcoholism and his need for adventure never allowed him to enjoy the money he made. His adventures were plenty, and so were the stories he wrote. He actually went to the Klondike during the very gold rush that's in this story. Like so many others who went there, he came back with only stories to tell. If you read this book, or reread it, you can wonder, as I do, how many of the things he writes in it were things he experienced firsthand.